There was always that grappling of like identity with even like when I don't feel like there's always a sense of it's weird. It's weird getting racism from both sides where like
Yeah.
brown folks might be disappointed that I don't speak a different language, and then there's white folks who might be disappointed that I'm not delivering skip the dishes or whatever it is. I think like there was a tendency, it was weird in the 80s, being Pakistani was like the schoolyard taunt was of a Paki or whatever it
Yep.
is. So
Totally. Yep.
and so I remember kids like hiding their backgrounds and they're like, oh, I'm from some other place, or I'm Spanish, or I'm Italian. I remember you start to like hide aspects of your
Yep.
culture growing up just to like not get bullied. I realized very quickly that humor was an inroads to having a lot of friends and building a social network. And so then as I got older, that became my go-to. I think like that was how I navigated everything, was like that's how I almost forged my identity, and how I was like, okay, people might not mistake me for XYZ if I'm so very clearly defined as someone who's into comedy and improv and all of that stuff. And I think that's served me throughout my career and everything in terms of being a something that I guess I identify so closely as a comedian. Almost,
Yep.
I think you need to like keep the fire lit to people. But also, I think there's a way in which you can use humor to layer down people's defenses, so then you can disseminate information to them in a different way that maybe they'll be a bit more receptive to it. Versus if you're angry and they're immediately defensive. And so I oftentimes, when I have experience microaggressions or whatever it is, I try and approach it to be like, okay, can I use this as an opportunity to educate someone? Can I
Mm-hmm.
humor to then make that connection? Because as soon as someone laughs, the part of their brain that's like trying to defend themselves or try and protect their identity is kind of turned off, and then you can.
Yep.
And so I think like that's not that this isn't at all funny, but I think that's like how I navigate things in terms of surviving through some of that stuff.